Welcome to another ramble. Today's topic is going to touch upon INFJ trust issues. Yes, I am in a parking lot, my favorite space ever. I can spend like hours in a parking lot doing absolutely nothing, and I'd be so happy. Anyways, back to the video. Today we're going to talk about INFJ trust issues. And what does that mean? Why do we have trust issues, and how can we resolve it? Well, I think you will agree that INFJs are really hard to get to know. Like, I think a lot of people see us from a very surface level, and they think we're like super happy and nice and kind and blah, blah, blah. And I am those things, but I am also a multi-dimensional being. I can be many things, and I guess it depends on how much I trust you, and that will basically determine which part of me or which dimension you get to see. So if I don't really trust you, I don't know you very well, then you'll probably just get the surface level stuff. And that could be either overly enthusiastic or it could be like really cold. Yeah, like I said, I think we are all multi-dimensional beings. It's just, I think INFJs have more access to these dimensions than some of the other personality types. Like, we've activated the dimensions, of ourselves, and so we are the way we are. And depending on who's in front of us, who presents themselves to us, that will open particular dimensions that we will activate in order to create a way to communicate with someone else. You know what I mean? To create that connection. Yeah, so trust issues. I think we have to take it back to when we were children and look at that. I think what happened, I think a lot, and I say think a lot in my videos, but I also feel a lot too. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that today. We're talking about trust issues and going back to when you were a child. So when we were children, I feel, were born with very complex and hypersensitive systems. And I don't think our parents knew how to deal with that. I think, then granted, I think our parents did their best to raise us based off of how their parents raised them, and how, it goes down the line. It's cyclical, you know what I mean? So our parents did the best that they could to raise us, and we didn't have a manual, and they didn't know what was going on. And so we came into this world with these hypersensitive and very complex systems. I know when I was a child, I was very, very sensitive. And I remember I was very kind and caring and trusting and gullible and open and receptive, and I wanted to help everyone. I wanted to help the bird, help the worm. Oh, that person over there needs help them, But after years of going through that, and then, realizing that I was involved in one-sided relationships or toxic relationships, and it was not promoting harmony within myself, I started to step back and reassess my methodology. Like, maybe this isn't working, maybe I need to revamp something or tweak something. But how annoying. Anyways, That's why I, after years of being involved in toxic or one-sided relationships and being deeply depressed and having many moments of hopelessness, I decided to find a remedy for all of the suffering. And I figured if I could find the remedy for myself, then I could help others find it for themselves as well, you know? So I think somebody mentioned in a comment that I seem very self-centered, and that could be true. Because for most of my life, I spent most of my time, energy, and attention and care outside, to the point where I was self-sacrificial, and then, once you hit, like, I don't know, 30s, maybe some of you guys are really young and you're getting it, but it took me 38 years to figure out that, okay, this isn't working anymore, and I really, really need to make some major shifts and adjustments in the way I approach life, you know? Um, I started meditating, and then also I started consuming data from books and people and the internet, and I'm just trying to figure it out, trying to understand. And I think that's what it is. Once you understand, then it's easier for you to navigate, you know? But yeah, I mean, I realized that that wasn't working for me, because I wasn't feeling harmony inside, and I think INFJs predominantly want harmony, inside and around us. And so I changed my method. I started implementing boundaries. I started listening to my internal dialogue. In fact, I started looking within. Instead of externalizing everything, I started looking within. And I started getting to know myself, and getting to know what I want and what I need and what I don't want and what I don't need. And then being able to hear that inner voice or that inner compass, and then choosing to make decisions that would promote harmony, and discarding things that didn't, if that makes sense. Because everybody is so different, and some things might work for you, might not work for someone else, and vice versa. But just knowing that and honoring that was a game changer, for sure. And also, not allowing people to have as much access to me. And that's the thing. Like, so remember I said when we were younger, and we're trusting and caring and gullible and self-sacrificial. Like, as I get older, I'm like on the opposite end of that spectrum. Like, I still care and I still love and I'm so kind and I'm so respectful to a degree. Like, I've become more apt to, like, discern what I want, what I don't want, what I need, what I don't need, and firm about that, and create boundaries around me. And people who I feel display behaviors or actions that don't align with what would make me feel harmonious inside get discarded, or they get less access to me. You know what I mean? Like, and people show you who they are from the get-go. It's just we have a tendency to idealize them and see them as we want them to be. I want to say, like, how, like, we that old adage about, like, seeing the best in people or looking for the good in things. That is a, I want to say, it's a tool, to help you to remain hopeful in life, but as far as being realistic, it's really, really delusional to like always see the good in things, because you should just see things as they are, you know? So like for me, like when I would see people, I would predominantly focus on their good attributes, and I would totally negate and disregard obvious red flags early on, because I was just looking at, oh, this person is a good person and they can be so good, and all they have to do is change these things within themselves and they'll be so good, instead of being like, this is how this person is, and they're obviously displaying behaviors that are disrespectful and inexcusable early on, and now that I'm older, I can pinpoint that those things easier. And once I see those things and I get red flags, then like my doors that were once open start closing. If I see another red flag, closing, another red flag, closing, so you get less and less and less and less access to me when you are displaying unexcusable behavior, being disrespectful, unkind, inconsiderate. I don't know, like all these things, all these like little attributes that I find repulsive, those red flags will pop up, and you will lose access to me pretty much, and that's why and I'm sure other INFJs cut people out. Is it a self-preservation mechanism? Maybe. But it could also just be a very hard boundary, where it's like, enough is enough. I've given you more than enough chances to improve yourself and to improve our relationship. It's creating more discord and dysfunction than it is harmony. And I'm kind of done with it, and that's the thing. Like, we get a bad rap for door slams, but I think it takes a lot of courage and strength to cut out things that are not good for you. I mean, it's easy to just let everything in, but to be able to like prune things from your life that do not sit well with you, that takes a lot of courage and bravery and wisdom, So yeah, I just don't tolerate intolerable behavior, or if I'm in an environment or there's food around me that I know is not going to be good for my system, then I'm obviously not going to take it, especially if it's poisonous for me. And trust issues. I feel like we go through like different layers and degrees. So like when we were children, we were completely open. As we navigate through life, we're still very trusting, and then we end up in toxic relationships or one-sided relationships because we don't know any better. And then you start realizing that, hey, I don't really want to live like that, and I just don't want to live like that, like if you're not going to promote harmony or peace, then you need to go, and it's as simple as that. I still trust people to a degree. Actually, I do trust people until I start seeing red flags. And then after that, your access to me becomes very, very limited until I cut you off completely. And I have no regrets, because I feel like, why should you regret doing something that's good for you? And if you remain in contact with things that are not good for you, I mean, it's not benefiting you and it's not benefiting others. So how would that be worthwhile? You know? But trust issues. I don't know if I answered the question, but I feel like I still trust people until they start showing me their true colors. And then after that, your access will be denied. Anyways, this went on very long. I don't know if it makes sense. And also, I don't know if I relate it in a way that hit the nail home, if that even makes sense. But thank you for watching, and have a beautiful day. Amen.